June 30th, 2011. In Macon, Georgia, police are called to Barrister Hall Apartments, a building close to Mercer University's law school. And at first, everyone is looking for a missing woman. 27-year-old Lauren Giddings. She just graduated from Mercer Law. She was studying for the bar exam, and she was supposed to be starting the next chapter of her life. But Lauren had not been answering calls. Her friends were getting worried, and then investigators found something outside the apartment complex, a trash bin. And inside, evidence that Lauren had not simply disappeared. She had been murdered. News crews arrived and students gathered. Neighbors stood nearby trying to understand what happened. One of those neighbors was Stephen McDaniel. He was also a Mercer Law graduate, and he lived near Lauren. And when the reporter interviewed him on camera, he acted like a concerned friend until the reporter told him remains had been found. Stephen's face changed. His voice changed, and suddenly, the man giving an interview about a missing neighbor looked like someone realizing the investigation had just turned toward him.
Welcome back to Coffee and Carn with Mom. I'm Zaylee.
And I'm Nicole, Mom, and today we're covering the murder of Lauren Giddings, a case that is terrifying, not because the killer was a stranger, but because he was right next door. All right, so on these Thursday episodes, we decided we won't do the coffee moment. These are supposed to be shorter episodes, but
Yeah.
they're kind of like a special thing.
Yeah, and they have been kind of lengthy, so we're working on trying to make sure we get them down as far as length goes.
Yes, kind of across the board after editing that last one.
Yeah, we tend to ramble, and then the editing is
We're
impossible.
learning. Yeah, we're learning.
Yes, but today's case is the Lauren Giddings case, and it was crazy because it really like on the fact that you don't know people like you think you know people. You just
Right.
know what they show you.
That's right. You know the mask they show you. And in this case, we're talking about Lauren Giddings, who was 27 years old. She was from Laurel, Maryland, and she had recently graduated from Mercer University's Walter F. George School of Law in Macon, Georgia. Friends described her smart, driven, kind, and full of life. She had worked hard to get through law school. You can hear your baby?
Wow.
Okay. She had worked hard to get through law school, and in the summer of 2011, she was studying for the Georgia bar exam. This should have been a proud season in her life. She had finished law school, and she was preparing for a future. She had every reason to believe life was moving forward.
And baby, I don't know. You know, everybody's not Kim K who could just pass the bar.
The bar.
Right,
You
surprisingly.
think she really passed the bar?
That's why I said what I said. Okay? Tis was the joke.
Sorry, I was shocked. I was stunned by the fact that she passed the bar. I guess I got stupid for a second.
Okay, yeah. But that is
That was the
hard
point.
to finish law school and passing the bar, getting through it. I know it's law degrees, medical degrees, including nursing, that are like super hard. So that's always awesome. But okay, Lauren lived at Barrister's Hall Apartments, which was popular with Mercer Law students because it was close to campus. One of her neighbors was Stephen McDaniel. Stephen had also graduated from Mercer Law. At first, he seemed like another quiet student in the building, but investigators would later uncover evidence that Stephen's interest in Laura had become obsessive and disturbing. And that is exactly what I be saying when I say you don't know people. No, yeah.
Yeah, so Lauren was last known alive late June 25th in the early morning hours of June 26th of 2011. And after that, her friends couldn't reach her. That was immediately concerning because Lauren was responsible. She was preparing for the bar exam. She was not someone who would just vanish without warning. When people checked her apartment, things felt wrong. Her belongings were still there. She had not packed up and left. And there was no normal explanation for why she was missing.
Which is weird. I mean, most people going through law school don't just go missing.
No, you put all that work in. Now you're studying for the bar exam. It seems like that would be all you could focus on.
Yeah, I've done years of this. I finally finished school. Now all I need is to pass this exam
It's
so
this
I could be a
test.
practicing lawyer. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure the stress was like insane, but to just disappear,
Right.
no,
Right.
no. And so there was another detail that makes this case even more disturbing because Lauren had reportedly been concerned before about the possibility that someone had entered her apartment or tampered with things around her home. And I know that's terrifying because
Oh
I
my gosh.
know when I see stuff, like if I come home and I don't remember stuff being moved, I'd be like, somebody was here. So, but I just have like
Right.
anxiety and I make shit up in my head. But to actually feel like that's really happening, I'm sure
I've had that
horrifying.
happen. Like I walk into a room and I'm like, something isn't right.
Something ain't right. So at the time, that may have seemed like a strange feeling or a small warning sign. But after investigators learned what had happened, those fears looked very different.
On June 30th, 2011, investigators found Lauren's remains in a trash bin outside the apartment complex. From that moment, this was no longer a missing persons case. It was a homicide investigation. The scene was horrifying for Lauren's friends, classmates, and family. And this was not a random place. This was where she lived, where law students walked every day, and where neighbors knew each other. And one of those neighbors was about to become the center of the case.
And I just need to know why you decided to put her in a trash bin outside the apartment complex. You didn't take her nowhere. This is where both of
Right.
you reside.
And this is not a dumpster. This is not
No.
like what you have in normal apartments. This is like the trash can that you have to wheel up to your garage with
Yes.
the lid that just you put next to your house
Mm-hmm.
if you have a house. So it's not a huge dumpster and it's just on the side of the building.
Yeah. So I mean that stood out.
Mm-hmm.
But Stephen McDaniel was nearby when media outlets were covering Lauren's disappearance. He gave an interview where he talked about Lauren. He appeared emotional and concerned, but then the reporter told him that remains had been found. And baby, that was the moment, okay? Because it became one of the most replayed true crime clips connected to this case. It's literally like his soul was like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And it looks like if they made a movie about this, his reaction was the theatrical version of it.
yeah. So we're
And
gonna
you'll
show
see.
you
This is
the
from the local news
the
in his
actual
area.
news clip.
And door was locked when everyone got here. And we just don't know where she is.
What about in the parking lot area? I know they've been doing a lot of. I think that's where they have recovered the body or whatever they recovered from there. Have you heard anything? Have you seen anything there?
After that clip, it is hard not to pause because knowing what we know now, it feels like we are watching someone's mask clip in real time, which is literally what happened. Like I said, his soul just
It's crazy. But we also want to be careful here, as hard as it is. A strange reaction alone does not prove guilt. People react differently to trauma. We can't always say how people will react. What matters is what investigators found after that. And what they found was much bigger than one strange interview.
I mean, I guess that is like yes, that's true. But also, I'm trying to think. Like looking at his reaction, could it be because at first, if it wasn't, he wasn't the killer, which he actually
Mm-hmm.
was, and it was
Right.
just like we're hearing that we found the body. Could that have been a like natural
When you watch
reaction?
it, you see that even the reporter's reaction is like trying to comfort him. We don't know what it is. We don't, they don't know for sure. You know, she's
Yeah,
trying to she's trying to make it better for him. So clearly her response to it wasn't that he seemed
guilty,
guilty
but like
right
shocked.
off.
It could be a natural reaction if
Hmm.
you're not letting your brain go to the fact that whoever you're
Right.
looking for could be dead and now somebody says they're dead.
Yeah, it could be that, definitely. So Stephen McDaniel was questioned by police, and at first he was not publicly known as the killer. But investigators began uncovering evidence that tied him to Lauren and to the crime. According to arrest warrant reporting, police found keys connected to the apartment complex that included a key to Lauren's apartment and a key that could unlock doors in the complex. That mattered because there were not obvious signs that Lauren let a stranger inside.
And then she was saying somebody was there, and the fact that it's
Hmm.
not just Lauren's key shows that he
Hmm.
probably was doing this to other people and she was just
Right.
his main fascination.
Hmm.
Police also found hacksaw packaging in Stephen's apartment. A hacksaw was later found in the storage area at the apartment complex, and testing connected that saw to Lauren through DNA evidence. And that was a major turning point because this was no longer just about odd behavior. Investigators had physical evidence, and who just has a hacksaw?
Oh, I mean,
Living in
I'm
an
not even
apartment
sure.
complex.
I wasn't even sure what a hacksaw was. And yes, why would you need it in an? It's not like you have a farm or you live on a ranch or even you have a house with a lot of trees. No, he's in dorms basically.
Basically, student living.
Right. And as investigators looked deeper, they found evidence that Stephen had been watching Lauren. Reporters described digital evidence, including photos and videos connected to Lauren. And this is where the case becomes especially chilling because Lauren was not just randomly attacked. The evidence suggested that she had been observed before her murder.
Okay, so this to me just feels like it was stalking gone wrong is what it
Mm-hmm.
seems like. Like she was
Right.
his obsession, and at
Mm-hmm.
some point he probably tried to make some kind of advance and it didn't go how he wanted to, and then this
He
is what
did.
happened.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what happened. They say that he actually asked her out the second time that they met, and she said no, but I would like to remain friends, trying to be
Hmm.
courteous, because he was kind of an odd kid. And
Yeah.
it seems like from then on, she would tell her friends that he made her feel creepy when he was around. So he was definitely obsessed with her.
Yeah. I mean, and that changes how we understand the case because this is not a sudden argument. This is not a burglary that went wrong. This was a case where investigators believe Stephen had access, opportunity, and a fixation. And Lauren was living her life, studying, preparing for her future, and someone nearby was quietly watching her and plotting on her
Yes,
because
that's
there are weirdos
scary.
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very scary. And in April of 2014, about a week before his trial was scheduled to begin, Stephen McDaniel pled guilty to malice murder. As a part of the plea, he gave a written statement. Prosecutors said Stephen admitted he entered Lauren's apartment around 4:30 in the morning using a master key. He said he watched her for a while she slept. When Lauren woke up, he killed her. Later, he returned and attempted to hide what he had done. So she woke up in the middle of him being in her apartment. They were saying that he possibly had been in her apartment before, and this time she woke up, and of course she recognized him,
Mm
and he killed her.
hmm. Mm hmm.
So later, he returned and attempted to hide what he had done. We're not going to describe that part in graphic detail. But investigators said Lauren's remains were separated and disposed of in different locations. And I do have a picture of what it looked like when they went into his apartment. It's horrible.
My goodness.
It's horrible.
That's just devastating because men really don't realize, like, I mean, obviously it's not all men, but
It's not
women
on me.
are literally fighting for their lives every day. Unknowingly, unbeknownst to us, that there's people out here like this that just have whatever fascination, and it's our fault that you can't get your
And
rocks off, and now we
and
have
we
to
have to be
suffer.
aware. Right. We always have to
Yeah,
be aware. There's no way I would go outside and move around with both of my AirPods in my ear.
never.
Something that simple. I need to be able to hear, even if I'm by myself, I need to be able to hear if somebody's coming up behind me. And that is
Yeah,
how women, and that's
yeah.
just very basic. Like, I'm not afraid when I go outside, but I have to be aware. We always have to be aware.
I am terrified. Like when I have to go places with the boys, you should see me
Mm-hmm.
getting everybody in the car by myself. It's always like, everybody hurry up, get in the car, everybody get in.
Yeah.
I'm looking, trying to buckle the boys in. I'm turning around, looking behind me
Right.
because people they do crazy
They will
things.
take
And
advantage of the
nowadays they
situation.
just snatch people in broad daylight. So I don't put anything past
No,
anybody.
no,
No.
you can't.
No. So, but that plea meant that Lauren's family did not have to sit through a full trial, thankfully. But it also
Yes.
meant that the public never heard every piece of evidence presented in court the way they would have during a trial, which for people like us who
Us
want to
who want to
know
know all
the
the details. Yeah.
information, or even if, the family did want to know, then that's unfortunate. But still, the
Felt that one coming. Including burglary and sex exploit. Okay. As part of the plea agreement, prosecutors dismissed other charges, including burglary and sexual exploitation of children charges that came out of the broader investigation. They should never, ever, 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 ever dismiss charges of sexual
I
exploitation of
let me
children.
tell you, they fucked up when they let me figure out I don't need a degree, no kind of experience. I don't need a recommendation. I don't need none of that shit to be a congresswoman. Cause I'm about to be a congresswoman. I'm about to switch some shit up. It's no way in hell that y'all are like,
No.
yeah, we'll throw that shit out because
Well, because you charged him with it because you saw or found something out.
right.
You can't just be like, okay, never mind.
It's
I know he's going to be in
evidence.
prison for hopefully his whole life. Maybe if you didn't drop those charges, because why he wanted them to drop him, because he was going to go in prison and get his ass taken from him on a nightly basis and his ass probably
Because it was going
killed
to be
behind fucking with
associated with them
kids.
children. Yeah, which it should have
Good on
happened.
him.
I don't feel like they should ever dismiss any of that shit. The rest of that, the burglary, cool, cool, cool. The children shit, hell no. That shit should stick with
No.
your ass every time. Every time. Every time. You should
Yep.
not be able to get away with that.
No,
Sorry.
once they have evidence enough that they charged him with it, unless
Under the
they
jail.
find out 100% that there was some mistake, I don't know. I don't know what it could be, but unless you have 100% evidence that he did not do it, you never drop those charges.
Everybody
That's why
charged
these
with
people are
any
doing
kind
this shit.
of everybody charged with any kind of crime against children, sexual crimes against children. We should throw their ass in the dungeon like old days, down there with the dragons and gargoyles and shit. Put them down there under there, like we 4, 5, 6 layers under the ground, and lock that shit up and leave them there. Fend for yourself.
I say my position is listen to the song Fertilizer. That's how I feel. That's all I'm saying on that. Lauren's family gave a powerful statement in court. They made it clear that Stephen may have taken Lauren's life, but he did not erase who she was. Lauren was more than the crime. She was a daughter and a friend, a law student graduate, a young woman with a future.
And that is important because cases like this can become known for the killer, the creepy
Mm-hmm.
interview, the strange behavior, the evidence. But Lauren is the person who should be remembered because she did not choose for this weirdo to come bust in her apartment and watch her sleep in the middle of the night and infringe on all of her privacy and all of her
Right.
rights and murder her because he got caught.
Where she should feel the safest in
The
her own home.
safest. Yes. Yes. That it's insane. But she had worked so hard to build a future, and that future was stolen for selfish reasons.
For nothing.
Nothing.
For nothing. And one of the scariest parts of this case is proximity. Stephen was not some unknown person miles away. He was close. He lived nearby. He had gone to the same law school, which is crazy. He understood legal language and police procedure enough to think carefully about what he said.
Yes, and it sounded like it was somebody that she at least tried to be friendly with.
Nice too.
So even
Yes.
though you're not my cup of tea, I'm not going to treat you no kind of way. I'm not ugly to you. And that makes it even worse. I mean, not that it would have been okay the
Because
other way
that
around.
because that shows his mindset. How dare her turn me down?
Yeah.
Like he gives off incel. Like he's by himself and it's everybody else's fault that he's by himself.
Yeah, and that makes the case even more unsettling because we often think of danger as something obvious, someone suspicious, someone who stands out, but sometimes danger is quiet. Sometimes it is someone people barely notice, and that happens a lot.
A lot more than we care to think about.
A lot.
In this case also shows why stalking and voyeuristic behavior should be taken seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Those behaviors are not harmless. They are
No.
about control, access, and violation. And in Lauren's case, investigators believe that behavior escalated into murder. Okay, so we're going to go to the closing, Zayla, because that's just telling us about a video that I don't know if I'm going to put there.
Okay.
Lauren Giddings should have been stepping into her legal career. She should have been taking her bar exam, celebrating with her friends, and planning for a future. No, I'm going to do it over. She should have been taking the bar exam, celebrating with friends, and planning her future. And instead, her life was taken by someone who lived close enough to watch her and had access to the place where she should have been safe.
Her case is remembered because of the interview clip, but it should also be remembered as a warning about obsession, stalking, and the way quiet warning signs can become serious. Because if somebody is around you and they're giving you the ick, I mean, a lot of the times people just like, oh, you're being an ass or whatever the case is. But no, if you like this person being around them, they genuinely make my skin crawl, like something isn't right,
Right.
then y'all need to pay attention to that. And if
You
you
always need to pay attention
Yes, and if you
to
feel that way, they shouldn't always be around you. Like they
that's right.
shouldn't have and obviously he was right there. He was close, like a neighbor. So she
Hmm.
really didn't have that choice. But those in her
Hmm.
life should have listened.
Right. And I think that we, especially as women, tend to discount those
Mm-hmm.
feelings. We're like, oh, we're being
We're
extra.
being
People tell
extra.
us we're emotional, we're being extra. We have those intuitions and those feelings that to protect ourselves. So we have to learn to listen to them. Because Lauren was loved and she mattered, and her story deserved to be told with care. Thank you for listening to Coffee and Crime with Mom. Lock your doors, trust your instincts, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, and watch out for the weirdos.
Always.